Good morning, everyone. This is Norma Cowie with my Wednesday morning Norma Talks. Because this is the first Wednesday of the month of June, I'm going to do my reading for the month. And I am once more keeping my fingers crossed that this will share. And I just want to let you know, several months ago, it took 9 hours for the photograph to come through, but I'm trying something a little different because it was late again this morning. So I was a little bit panicky. I just want to see if we can, hello, nothing's coming up. Just a minute. There we go. I want this photograph. Will it come up? There it is. Okay, this was the photograph I took. Oops. Oh, that's interesting. I'm still learning about these extras. This is the photograph I took this morning of my inverted pyramid reading for the month of June for the and I deliberately thought of the US and Canada because we are intertwined and we're very close. And so what we're going to look at here, and I've looked at the symbols, of course, but I haven't really read them yet as a continuation for the month. Now it shows here with the beginning, the Hermit, is a lot of people are doing a lot of introspection. And I know that some of the conversations I've had, that people are beginning to look at all sorts of different aspects around the virus, around the vaccine, around just a whole lot of things. And what I feel is between now and approximately the 9th of June, there's going to be a feeling of not exactly euphoria, but with the Three of Cups, very often we have that very much the fun and to me, the energy that comes from that is almost an euphoria. Well, I should say until the 9th or 10th of June, because then we come into the Queen of Pentacles, and I feel this is where we're going to have as a whole. Now, it doesn't mean every single person, but as a whole, what would begin to happen is we start looking at our own economics, our own place of where we are. I always see the Queen of Pentacles with this. I wonder if I can do this. Let's bring this in a little bit closer. No, I can't move it down though. So I want to move it up. Is this roses up here? The roses of desire really kind of inhibit where we're going. So we do a lot of contemplation. Now it's a very abundant symbol. I have a little rabbit down here, but that's not where my eye goes. And I read where my eye goes and the feeling I get from it. It's around this money. Where is the money? Last time we saw money being given out, and I did hear and read where money was being distributed in different places on different things. Here is where I think a lot of consideration is going on as to how money, who has the money, and a lot of acceptance. This is an acceptance symbol in my mind, part of the acceptance pattern in life. And through the acceptance, we have to accept certain things. Excuse me. We don't have power or control over everything that there is. So there is a degree of acceptance here. And when we look at then we're proceeding here, and I feel that we're around the 15th probably by this point of time. What we're doing is then we're having to move forward in the direction. I just wanted to move that a little bit of where we're heading. So it's like individuals like you and I begin to take command of our world. It's not that everyone gets to tell us exactly where we're going or what we're doing or how we're looking. We take command. We go in the direction that we want to. And again, what we see here in the 4 is that within the 4, that what we begin to see is that we're holding on really tightly. And so again, I get the money thing. The economics of our world. How is our economics happening? How is our economics working? And consequently, that becomes kind of, well, a little bit of an issue. So then we come down to this Judgment. This is a higher arcana card, just like the Hermit was in the beginning. This is again, another acceptance symbol. We've got the Queen of Pentacles, which is what I call an attitude symbol that has a lot of acceptance about it. Now we're coming into the total ability of being able to accept things as they are. Now, hopefully more people are beginning to listen to their own instincts, their own intuition, their own awareness. And so they're beginning to accept those things they can't control, what they need to do to make change, what to do, and about what we call the light workers of the world call light of love, of harmony and peace, and we begin to accept self-responsibility. Every person's journey is about their own responsibility of how they are responding. And my eye basically goes, which doesn't usually go, is to the big red square, red cross here on this flag. Equal arms, just like on the beginning of the High Priestess, for those that know the tarot symbology. The energy that covers all four corners of the earth, that covers all peoples, the energy that is there. Of course, this is Gabriel blowing his horn, but it's like we accept that there is a power there. We accept how that power works. So there could be, from the sense, many of us having a revelation that, hey, there is an energy coming here. Now, I know that there's going to be talk about the ETs being exposed, etc. And many of us have known there's been ETs around, etc. forever. I know I first saw mine, gosh, when I was about 20, I think. And so, actually, I would have been a bit older than that because my son was born already. So it's about 22 years old I saw it. And so and of course, there's been a lot of talk since. So the consequence here is this great revelation of acceptance. But then what we see is that we begin to take this revelation, we take this knowledge and awareness, and with another higher kind of card, the strength, we begin to apply that to our lives. And so what we do is we begin to get command of our lives. And no matter how unruly or how we feel that we have no power whatsoever, we begin now to feel that we have the power and the ability to work with this. And this is as it's bringing us up through the 20s, what we begin to feel that these problems and feelings that we've had of probably helplessness and how are we supposed to do it, and a lot of fear. You'll notice there's no fear in here. There's only a sense of, I'm trying to move this out so we can see a little bit more here. And then if I can move it there. So what this means, the problems are coming to an end. They're not all over yet, of course not, but we're working through the end of them. And then we've got the new dawn here. So it's really going to be very, very important. Also, I like my goes to this hand, which is the hand really showing benediction and awareness and knowledge and to apply, because you're going through, because my eye is beyond the swords, which means that yes, the problem's been there, but it's getting better. And then finally, this attitude, another attitude card of the Queen of Swords, as we face off towards the end of the month of June, being a little uncertain again. So we've kind of gone from euphoric that everything is like fine, everything is good, to acceptance, and well, we can deal with that. And it's kind of a little bit reminds me of an accordion going in and out, blowing hot, blowing hot. Oh my goodness. But on the whole, it's movement forward. And then we often have this Queen of Swords is a little bit of an energy of hesitation and uncertainty, wanting to be open and wanting to show that, yes, I'm very open to everything, but really wary. And in the wariness, I think here is because this money stuff that keeps showing up, even though there's only two symbols, but we've had this great revelation in here in the middle, towards the middle and the early part of the 20s, somewhere in there, that is really going to change a lot of things. But then when change happens, most of us are not flexible. So we don't have the flexibility that we want to be able to move forward. So July is going to be very, very interesting to see what July does bring about and how July works, because what's going to come forth out of this is going to be, it's certainly going to be change. There is no way we cannot have everything. Now, I usually like just to show a little bit more here. We go to the three side symbols. It says, the answer lies within by accepting what is, so do not be concerned or afraid of what is coming, because you have the strength there. Now, the strength actually lies in the middle row. By, again, accepting where you are and looking at what you do have, but acceptance of the power that you have, you can command where it's going, so believe. I feel like this is going to be important to believe. Here it says, let go. Do not be fearful. Do not tighten. Life does not work well with tight. When you tighten up, whether it's about money, whether it's about relationships, whether about anything, you get all tight about it, Doesn't work, because energy flows all the time, and you want that flow in your life, because yes, issues are being taken care of, but you got to believe. Again, I just realized as I'm saying believe, 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 this is the importance of the belief element. So we have the two symbols that didn't kind of show up here was that joyful, moving ahead, and having strength and moving forward. So to me, this month of June is going to be a little bit like a roller coaster, but there's so much joy and there's so much euphoric, as though people are becoming aware and really understanding that it's, to a large degree, it's up to their decisions and up to where they are wanting to be and what they're wanting to create. So that is my take, what I got this morning. My take on where we're heading. And actually, I'm kind of feeling much better about that than I was feeling last month when I did it. I was really like, oh, I don't know if I like what I see here. But this I feel fascinated by, because I want to see if the information about the ETs that are coming out is going to make a huge change or difference, or what that represents. Because I often find, oh, I think it's going to be this, and then it turns out to be that, but the result is the same. And so that's what is important. So as we're moving forward in the direction of where we want to go, I was going to talk a topic about past lives and things, but I feel like I want to continue with what I'm doing here, really reinforcing how much our own personal decisions make a difference. Decisions. People overlook that all the time. Now, we make decisions based on our beliefs and attitudes, and very often we make those decisions based on beliefs and attitudes that we've picked up from our parents, where we've picked up from other things, and they're not really thought through. A majority of us, I wouldn't say a majority, many of us have a strong intellect. And because we have a strong intellect, what ends up happening is that we always are looking for how come, what for, what does this mean, and things like that. And then there's some of us like myself that have both. We have a strong intellect, and then we have a strong intuition. So when we put these two together, we will often come up with a different result than, say, a person over here that has just a strong intellect, or a person over here that just goes on their emotions. We really need the combination of both. Now, as I have talked about a lot, I do energy transformation work, and I see this played out in front of me. And that's what I've really come to understand, how important it is to have an integration between what we would call your mental level and your emotional level. But you see, a person who has a very strong intellect, and most of us have an intellect that are in self-exploration because we're trying to figure things out. That's part of our nature, you might say. Let's figure out what's going here. What I find for a lot of people is they have all these little boxes, and that life should be this way or that way or whatever. Now, where do those boxes come from? Sometimes they come from other lives. Sometimes they come because you were raised in a family that had, well, life's supposed to be this way, and this is what should happen, and this is what you should believe. And then you get out in the world, and all of a sudden, the world's different. That little box doesn't work, and that puts you into conflict. And that's when if you are really intellectually or when I say mental, I mean like you use your mind a lot, driven, what you will do is you will work to seek answers, or you'll stay confused. And I think when we stay confused, that the emotion gets in there and makes it, because confusion actually comes from our mental side of things, but it triggers the emotion. It triggers fear. What if I am wrong? What I run across a lot is belief systems inside. I am no good. I don't deserve this. Why would I want, like, well, how come I can have that? I don't understand. A lot of those kind of beliefs and attitudes that they picked up via their family, they're picked up by their friends, because we tend to hang out with people who think and feel a lot like we do. And so consequently, we really need to be aware. And I think That's why I was hardened inside when I saw the light shining through in this reading today, when I saw the acceptance of things. And acceptance always means you're accepting something that you probably didn't even think about or knew about or considered or whatever. It's like, wow. And so what it does, it's like some of those games, where they fling the little ball up and it finds it's all the way down, and maybe maybe you win or maybe you don't. But it's like, it's all of a sudden thoughts begin to tumble. Now, a lot of people I know have been saying that a lot of truths that have been suppressed from us are going to be coming out. And then we'll see what those truths are and how they come out. A lot of them already, but unfortunately, they're not always recorded on mainstream media, etc. But that's okay, because truth has a way of weaning its way through. You can't see my hands, like the water. Ever had a flood inside? Starts off around where it is, and then it begins to creep out everywhere else, and then you're sopping forever, sopping the water up. But the revelation of whatever that revelation is, that acceptance. I don't ever remember my eye being drawn to the red flag before, maybe once way back, that had significance to the person I was reading for. We need to be in balance. We need to have our mind and our emotions in balance. The mind likes to be in control. It likes to be the commander of the ship. And consequently, the mind and by itself is not creative. And that's what we forget, because the mind will play the same old programming that it had originally put in place. In your computers, it's programmed, and it just plays the same program. It gives the same program. It gives the same result. And so consequently, it's like, if you don't know how to change the program, guess what? It just keeps replaying. It keeps saying the same thing. Now, I know I'm going to need to learn how to edit my videos, a series of videos I made, because I have to take something out of the videos. And I know nothing about editing at all. And either someone's going to come forward and say they'll do it for me, or I'm going to have to learn it, because I want to do that. I want to make sure that these set of videos are available for people to have. And so they can learn tarot and things like that. But in the meantime, I have to do a lot of editing. 8, I've got a series of 8. But anyway, that's beside, it's like, you've got to change the program a little bit. I've done a program, but now I found I need to take out one section, and there could be lots of little sections to take out. So that's like life in lots of ways. How do we balance? How do we extend? What do we need to let go of? What are we willing to let go of? So we have to edit our own programming and say, okay, I picked that up from my dad. I picked a lot of stuff up from my dad, even though he was an absentee father. Probably why I picked a lot of stuff up from him, because his words were important when he came home. He was the boss. And I learned other things from my mother. But it was like, and some of those I've had to let go of. Some of them I've kept very close. My dad was quite, a strange philosophical person. And even though I didn't spend a lot of time, I spent a lot of time with him, not necessarily talking, but I learned a lot from him. But as I got into my own life in a different culture, what I found was I had to adjust. I had to change things, because what I knew didn't fit totally. So it's like adjustments. And that is life, that life full of adjustments. And that's what we see in this reading too. The acceptance of what works for us. Now, the other element in this reading I found very interesting is around money. Last time it was like I felt money was going to be given out, which I believe there was money given out towards the end of May. Well, actually, it was more like close to the middle. And because I kind of keep an eye on what's happening, and so I can see if what I see it does come true, because sometimes you see things and things change and then they don't. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when you're projecting ahead, that things do change. So as we move forward around this money, you must remember, now this is according to me, money is an energy and it flows. When we don't have enough, we have to kind of figure out how because I feel that within the great cosmos, whether you call it universal love energy or source, as I do, or God or Jesus or Mary or whoever you pray to, what I've learned, what I've learned is people don't know how to ask effectively. And I see that all the time, is you ask for what you need and want. And miracles can happen. I know, because they've happened in my life. But there's an alignment that needs to happen with that energy and that force. There's a belief. And that was the word that kept coming up for me at the end. You must believe. Do not doubt. Doubt will always stop you and keep you exactly where you are. And that's probably the big message today. Let go of any doubt. Know that what it is that is to come, you will handle, you will deal, you will work with. You can accept what you like, you can reject what you don't like, yes, but don't doubt the evidence. Don't doubt what feels right. That may not fit the brain, may not fit the intellect, but may fit in the belief. And so that you can switch that energy around to allow more in for what you're wanting and what you're wanting to create. It's those niggles of doubt that block. And so we think we believe, but do we truly believe? I call it moving into a knowing place. When you know something is real, you're just waiting for it to show up. You don't even have to think about it again, because it's already in the programming of what is to arrive. But when we doubt it and not sure of and try and figure it out, it usually blocks it. Well, I think that's it for today. So this is our first day. I don't know about you, but the weather here has been beautiful the last few days. And it's actually getting hot now. So I'm going to have to turn on my cooling air conditioning to keep my place cool. But I just really want to wish you all well. I will be back on Sunday for a Sunday thought. Haven't got the inspiration on that one yet, but usually comes through before, so I'm aware of what I'm going to briefly talk about. And oh, by the way, if you watched last week's Sunday, I have to tell you this, because I wasn't feeling very well. And I did talk about that on that Sunday, about how I wasn't feeling very well. And I live stream Sundays, and I live stream through a company called StreamYard. So I had gone in and I had opened up and I'd started my talk, and I did my talk. And then I did a very silly thing. I didn't press end. I pressed leave the studio. And then I couldn't figure out why when I went in to sort of finish up what we call the editing, which is just to make sure that on YouTube, you've got everything and little bits and pieces. It was all black. Couldn't figure it out. And then I went, oh, I didn't say stop. Stop recording. I didn't say that. So I tried. What do I do? Do I go back? Talk about confusion. Do I go back? And remember, I'm not feeling good at all, but it's a Sunday and I'm committed. I have to do my Sunday talk. And so I go in and I end up going in, because I also do it on Facebook, and I ended up came up, and I pressed pause, not stop. So I was like beside myself. I can go back in and I can delete it and redo it, and all these millions of thoughts that go on. And oh my goodness, and there's my phone saying my time is up, and I thought I'd put it on quiet. No, we'll put it on quiet now. So I will be quiet in just a second. Oh my goodness, now I've got other stuff showing up here, which I don't want to have. It's saying it's time to quit. But I want to say, when I went to look on YouTube, I did come up, but it says I'm there for 20 odd minutes, which was not true. I was actually there about 8 minutes. So in a way, that's what happened. It's because I forgot to press stop recording. So I am going to press stop recording on this now, and wish you very, very well. And remember, thanks for the subscriptions. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the likes, etc. And always contact me through my website, normacowie.com. Blessings to everybody.